Yes, student. Now we will learn how do we make a chemical reaction more informative. How do we make chemical reaction more informative? For this, we use S for solid, L for liquid state, G for gaseous state, and for precipitation we use downward arrow, and for aqueous solution we use AQ. Along these symbols we use some information on the arrow. For example, for sunlight we use H nu, or for heating we use the sign of triangle, or we should write heat on the arrow. For example, the simplest reaction is burning of a fuel. In burning of fuel, we write carbon, as all the fuels contain carbon. For burning, the necessary condition is presence of oxygen, and when the fuels burn, they produce carbon dioxide along with a lot amount of energy. Now, this reaction is not an informative reaction. To make this reaction informative, we use S in the bracket of carbon, G in the bracket of oxygen, as oxygen exists in gaseous state, and on the arrow we write either heat or a triangle that shows the reaction take place on heating. Similarly, carbon dioxide exists in gaseous state, so I write here G. On the arrow we write the conditions in which the reaction take place, just like the pressure or the temperature, means at which temperature or at which pressure these reactions will take place. This is the molecular form of the reaction. For molecular form of the reaction, we use H2 for hydrogen gas, O2 for oxygen gas, N2 for nitrogen gas. Mostly the atoms of the periodic table exist in the atomic form. For example, carbon, aluminium, iron. The atomic form of the iron is the molecular form of the atoms. This is the molecular state. If we take oxygen gas, then we use O2, nitrogen gas, N2, hydrogen gas, H2. If we want to represent hydrogen atom, for hydrogen atom we use symbol H. For oxygen atom we use symbol O. Similarly, for nitrogen atom we use N. And mostly atoms of the periodic table exist such in their molecular state. This makes the reaction more informative. Yes students, now we will discuss the next example of chemical reaction. In next example of chemical reaction, we take the reaction of iron and steam. In the reaction of iron and steam, the reaction is when iron reacts with steam, it gives iron oxide and hydrogen gas. The chemical reaction is when iron reacts with steam, it gives iron oxide and hydrogen gas. In this chemical reaction, iron and steam. Steam means hot water. When steam and iron reacts together, they give iron oxide and hydrogen gas. Means iron oxide and hydrogen gas are products, whereas iron and steam are the reactants. So first criteria of chemical reaction is it should be in the form of chemical reaction. How we write the chemical reaction? First write the symbol of iron. Iron symbol is Fe. Its physical state solid. So write here S. Next is steam. Steam is the form of water vapors. So we write the symbol of water along with G. G means the gaseous state of vapor. This arrow which separates reactants from the products. Here product are iron oxide, that is Fe2. Iron oxide is here magnetite Fe3O4. It is also in the solid state. Hydrogen gas, the symbol of hydrogen gas is H2. Either you write G in the bracket or you write the arrow like this. The first criteria of chemical reaction is, or the chemical equation is, it should be a chemical reaction. Second, it should be in the molecular form. Molecular form of water is this, and hydrogen gas is H2, iron oxide is Fe3O4, and the molecular form of iron is the same as that in the atomic form. Most of the element in the periodic table exist in molecular form as such. For example, sodium, potassium, rubidium, magnesium, aluminium, etc. Most of the elements exist as such in their molecular state except hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas exists in the form of H2. Oxygen gas exists in the form of O2. Similarly, nitrogen gas exists in the form of N2. These all are the gaseous state of hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. If we want to write the atomic state of hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, then we use H, O and N. These are the atomic state of hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. So the first criteria of writing the chemical equation is it should be in the form of chemical change. Second, it should be in the molecular state. These all are in the molecular state. And third one is it should be balanced. Balanced means all the atoms present in reactants as well as in the products are same. Now see this reaction. In this reaction, iron is 1 on the reactant side and there are 3 iron atom on the product side. Similarly, on the reactant side only 1 oxygen is present, but on the product side 4 oxygen atoms are present. Therefore, it is not a balanced chemical reaction. So, we have to balance this chemical reaction. In the next lecture, we will learn how we balance this chemical reaction.